Well, welcome, first of all. You come all the way from Romania to do this interview.
Correct.
What do you hope to achieve from this interview? Why are you here?
It'd be interesting to have a conversation with you. You've certainly been the subject of your own divided opinions in the world. There's a lot of people who would say some of the things you say are perhaps dangerous or toxic. So I thought you'd be a good person to speak to about this subject.
So this is Andrew Tate being interviewed by Piers Morgan, and I hope you enjoy. I'm going to be doing some commentary as well.
I didn't know much about you before this year, and then I suddenly became very aware of you, as the world did, because, as I said earlier, you were the #1 subject searched on Google ahead of Donald Trump. Yeah. I didn't think it was even possible. Yeah. Why did you get suddenly so popular / infamous, do you think?
I exploded. I certainly didn't do that with magic. I've been on the internet for a very long time. I think in the world we live in now, as the other side, the people who disagree with me, as they get more and more tyrannical in their censorships and their hate mobs, etc., as standard masculine practices are deemed toxic, I didn't put a magic spell on everybody. I managed to accumulate a large amount of affinity with the male populace across the Western world because I'm simply saying things that many men believe, think, and feel.
The problem...
Right, and that's the thing, right? A lot of the things that he's talking about are not like this destructive, evil thing. They're things that people actually believe, but if you say, if you say some of this stuff in the modern Western world, you get literally censored, thrown off the internet, you become a pariah, etc. You're not allowed to say what you think or what you believe unless it's in line with the female imperative, right? Unless it's in line with the matriarchy that we live in. And the reason we live in this matriarchy is so that the capitalist Western societies can capitalize off of the break of the nuclear family, the destruction of the nuclear family, effectively, right? Ironically, the people with the most money don't get divorced as often. So it's literally the average person being destroyed for the purpose of capitalist exploitation, effectively, and they don't care that they're destroying the little people, as it were. It's the little people, me and you, that have to suffer, right?
What I would say is I want to play you just a clip off the top. This is from Joe Rogan. He's somebody I absolutely love.
Sure.
And I think it explains to me what I presume my issue with you is going to be, right?
Correct.
And you have absolutely got the right to try and persuade me otherwise.
Sure.
But Joe Rogan said this.
So this interview, what the purpose of this interview is Andrew Tate, are you a good person or are you a bad person? I'm going to try to paint you as a bad person. Bad man. Bad man. You're against what womanism says. I need to actively shut you down because my womanist audience, my 50% of my audience needs to see you getting pilloried, effectively, is what's going on here.
About you.
My 12-year-old and my 14-year-old asked me about Andrew Tate.
And
my 14-year-old
asked me,
I said he's a legit world champion kickboxer. I go, I like him a lot. Why do you like him? And I was asking him. And they said he says a lot of funny stuff on Twitter and TikTok. He f***ed up with the misogynist stuff.
Yes.
Because if he didn't do that, if he just did the pro-male stuff.
Again, so Joe himself, he's a regular guy, right? I mean, obviously he's a rich guy, but he's a regular guy. He's a, as they would call, a blue pill alpha, right? So his thoughts and opinions are not very red pill in terms of female nature, right? Which is why I'm pretty sure that he married a single mother or something. Like I don't remember exactly for Joe Rogan, but that's the gist of it, if I remember correctly. Or she was old. I don't remember. But anyway, what I'm saying is that that's why he would frame it in such a way that it's being against women, right? Anyway, let's see what Andrew has to say here.
So I thought that was interesting because when I've gone over everything that's been at the center of the debate about Andrew Tate, I come down with Joe Rogan in the sense that there's a lot of stuff you say I agree with. I've got 3 sons in their 20s. It's not easy actually being a young male in the modern world. And I think a lot of the things that you say about that can resonate with them. Yeah. The problem comes with the, I don't know, 10, 20% or whatever of your output which on the face of it appears to be blatant misogyny.
Right. But here's the thing. On the face of it appears to be blatant against women's stuff. So here's the thing, guys. Talking about unflattering female nature, that's the truth, is not blatant being against women. That is telling the truth, right? And telling the truth should not get you pilloried, but it does. In fact, if you look at, Galileo, if you look at Socrates, etc., you'll see examples of exactly this. Drink the poison, Socrates, you're corrupting the youth. It's literally an example that's happening right here in 2022. Some things never change. 2,000 years ago and then now. Hello and welcome to the Helios blog. My name is Helios, here for another reaction video. If you're new to the channel, liking the content, please hit the sub, hit all for notification. Of course, if you'd like to support me further, I do have a Patreon with exclusive content. It's patreon.com/theheliosblog. Just go there and subscribe to any tier. Any level of support is appreciated. Okay, let's continue.
And when you couple that with your massive influence and huge reach, that is why the social media companies have decided to effectively cancel you.
Right, so the social media companies, what's their point? Their point is this. We don't want the bad press of having a person on our platforms that talks about unflattering female nature. Why? Because we're capitalists, right? So we want to make money off these girls. And if we allow these opinions, if we allow the truth on the platforms and not just purely flattering truths towards towards women, we're going to lose a lot of money. So that's why they actually banned him. They didn't ban him because they care about what he has to say. They banned him because of money. Because women will boycott the platforms, and women are the biggest user of those platforms. So TikTok, for example, is preemptively banned, Instagram, etc. Women mostly use these, and literally these companies are profiting off of the destruction of these women, right? Because they're getting like this glut of attention, and this glut of attention makes them think that they're superior to all these men that they're talking to, even though they're not. And because they believe that they're superior to those men, because women are hypergamous, they want superior men to themselves. It cuts out 90% of the male population or more. Because, the girl gets so much attention that she thinks that she's a supermodel, right? When she's not. But it doesn't matter because her psychology thinks that she is. And that's all that's needed, right? And that's why you get these girls that are, 4 out of 10 going, I'm a queen. All these girls, you interview them, they say, I'm a 10 out of 10, I'm a 12 out of 10, I'm a 100 out of 10. It's because their egos have been blown way out of proportion by all of this attention that they get. And there you go.
I don't believe in cancellation. I don't believe in censorship particularly. That's why I've invited you to come on the show.
I mean, you can say that all you want, but what you're doing, Piers, is you're effectively adding fuel to the fire. You're saying, you're accusing the guy of being, a guy that's against women, which is like trying to burn his reputation for views and clicks and money. So you're just a vulture, effectively, right? You're feeding off of his corpse. It's a little bit sad, frankly.
But I do think a lot of the things you've said are blatant misogyny.
Right, so Piers is taking a very clear stance. I'm a leftist. I'm with the girls. You're saying stuff that's against the girls. Stop it, you bad man. No implication as to the truth. No implication. What's it called? No agreement on that, right? And here's the funny thing. You're going to see it later in the interview. But Piers makes mention of, discriminating women based on their age. Just you wait. It's coming. I'll make the point then.
Do you accept that?
So you made a very interesting point there. You just said on the face of it appeared to be blatantly misogynistic. I understand that on the face of some of the long format content I've made, if you're going to take a few seconds out of hours, chop it up, put it all over social media, accompanied with my massive fame, then things can absolutely not be taken out of context. I do.
Right. So that's exactly what they do, right? So actually, I'm going to reference Rollo Tomasi, who's the godfather here, because it's a great point here. This is what the modern world is like. Okay, the modern world is like this. They invite these people that are controversial into the interview, right? They talk to them for an hour, they talk to them for 2 hours, whatever. They clip little 30-second snippets of that person, and they post those. and they use that to actively get clicks and to trash people's reputation, right? Because nobody has time to watch the long form interviews. So it doesn't matter if in the greater context they explain, very clearly in detail, like their points that, nuanced. If they say one little thing that could trash their reputation, that's what people are going to watch. And it takes a lot more effort to refute the crap that people are trying to, use to destroy your reputation. It takes a lot more effort to destroy that than it does to make that crap. So, effectively, again, it's just pillorying a person for the purpose of making money with no regard as to how you're actually going to hurt their reputation.
Do not hate women in any regard. I have no negative relationship with women. No women have come forward saying I've hurt them. I have no criminal record for hurting women. There's no way I can be seen as the face or the devil in regards to how men treat women on the planet. I'm absolutely and utterly the opposite. I believe in protecting and providing. I've been misunderstood. There's been large contingents of people who have tried very hard to purport lies about me. And the truth of the matter is, I've been producing content for a very long time. Hours and hours of videos been cut down to 2 or 3 seconds of clip. Those clips have gone viral and people misunderstand me.
But I think you use
this
phrase and be taken out of context. And I'm not sure that is correct in the sense that.
Right, so Piers is just going to keep pushing on this thing, right? You're a bad man, aren't you? Admit you're a bad man. Come to Jesus. Andrew Tate, won't you admit you're a bad man so that I can clip it and use it to, give myself and my, the channel that pays for me to shill for them, save them?
It still comes out of your mouth. And some of the things,
Completely.
Okay,
some
yeah.
of the things you've said, I just think are blatantly.
Well, let's do them. Let's hear them.
Let's go through some.
Sure.
Right. So you said this about Me Too / rape. This is probably 40% of the reason I moved to Romania. In Eastern Europe, none of this garbage flies. You go to the police and say he raped me back in 1988. They'll say, well, you should have done something about it back then.
Yeah, so the point I was making was obviously at the height of the Me Too scandal, and also if we look at Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, there's been a lot.
Right. So what's happening is the following. In these cases, right, the girls are doing it oftentimes for attention, right? Or they're doing it to get back at the guy, sometime later. And it turns out that they were just fabricating the claims, right? So it's my view that if girls make claims like this and they turn out to be false, they should be punished very harshly, right? Because the consequences of attacking a man's character like this are very severe, right? But there are no such consequences in the modern world, in the modern Western world. And so, you get the modern situation where men don't want to get married. They don't want to associate with women because they're afraid of the consequences, right? And it's really funny because you can get called out, you can get hurt very badly for approaching girls if they think you're not attractive, right? So you could say the same things, you could approach the same way, you could do the same things as a man. And if you're attractive to the girl, it's fine. And if you're not attractive to the girl, it's not fine. And then the girl can absolutely trash your reputation using this Me Too type stuff, right? And again, in the modern Western world, men are innocent. They're guilty until proven innocent, right? So what that means is, like Johnny Depp, for example, he lost his contract with Disney. It's not coming back. He lost his ability to be Jack Sparrow. That's not coming back, even though he didn't even do anything bad, right? He reacted in the way that any reasonable person would to a person treating him like garbage, right? So there you go.
Of high-profile cases where men have been accused of things they did not do without evidence, and their lives have been completely and utterly destroyed.
Exactly.
When I say these things, people sit and say that, oh, he hates women. I don't hate women. I think rape is disgusting. I would take a stronger stance on rape than the British government. I think these people should face the death penalty. But to sit and say that women without evidence can go forward and just make up accusations against men, even though they've been repeatedly proven to destroy men's lives at will, is absolutely and utterly
What about a
asinine.
woman who was raped back in 1988 and goes to the police?
Then the man should face absolute and complete justice.
Agreed. That's right. So that's exactly right. So the issue is that the false accusation is destructive, not the true accusation, right? And that's the thing. So this whole like believe all women thing is extremely destructive, right? For that reason, it's destructive because it hurts like people that are legitimately innocent, right? Who are being accused by a girl who's not of sound mind and, mental faculties, right?
But you understand that when that clip appears on TikTok as a clip, and all right,
As a clip, completely.
okay, but it's still something that came out of your mouth. Do you accept that when that appears on TikTok, a lot of young, maybe not as smart as you, young men, right? Impressionable, teenagers, will read that and go, what's he saying here? Is he saying...
Okay, so here is the issue. So what Piers is trying to say is, your words, when taken out of context, can hurt people. Okay, cool. I can take your words out of context and hurt people too, right? So my recommendation to those children that are watching TikTok is that TikTok is an extremely destructive medium, and they shouldn't be using it at all because it's absolutely destructive to their own to their attention span and to their ability to be successful adults in the future. And that's how I would respond to that situation. How can you possibly think that a 1-minute clip is a legitimate way to learn anything about anyone? It's not. You need to listen to long form content. You need to listen to the debate. You need to listen to the full story, the full conversation. Because anyone is capable of cutting up what another person says and then saying that that person is bad. So for example, I'm sure you could take like a Piers Morgan series of interviews, cut one word from here, from there, put it in a long line and have him say whatever you want him to say in a TikTok, 30 seconds or whatever, and then blame him for being a bad person because those words came out of his mouth. You can't accuse a person of something when of doing something, of saying something, when that something that they said is not what they said, when it's taken out of context. Right? You need to listen to the full explanation before you pillory somebody, right? That's my opinion anyway.
That rape doesn't exist.
No, I completely. I'm not going to sit here as a professional and say that I can't be taken out of context. What I will say is that one small sentence you've taken was from a 1-hour video where I explained that, of course, rape is disgusting. Of course, everybody should be punished for their crimes regardless of when they happen. But people are not perfect, male and female. And if you give women the opportunity to destroy men's lives without evidence, there's going to be a contingent of women who will do that.
Indeed, that is exactly the problem. The problem is that statistically, there's going to be a group of women that do it. And here is the issue. And this is a gigantic issue. The gigantic issue is the following. It's not that all women will. That's not the problem. The problem is that any woman can. It puts too much power into the hands of people that potentially can abuse it. That is the issue. The issue is that unless there is a serious punishment for false accusations, it gives too much power to them, right? And in giving that power, you destroy the lives of innocent men, and you destroy many more lives than you help, right? By that. Like, there's a reason why we have due process, why we have you are innocent until proven guilty. There's a reason why we have that. It's because if people fabricate claims against you, it shouldn't hurt your reputation. But it does, because in the modern world, you're guilty until proven innocent for anything regarding women, which means that women are above reproach, which means that women are above criticism, right? They're not above criticism. But that is what's happening in the modern womanist matriarchy. And that's something that simply cannot happen for the good of society.
I'm trying to make a balanced and nuanced argument in a world where people have no attention span.
Right.
They're going to take a few seconds, put it online, decide someone's good or bad, not be interested in the longer format video. And here I am. No, I'm certainly a person who takes personal responsibility. That's who I am as a person. But we live in a world now with TikTok videos 5 or 6 seconds long. There's no content.
Do you think women are the property of men?
No. The point I was making...
Why have you said they are?
Because I made a religious point. I said that when a man marries a woman, the woman's father walks her down the aisle, and hands her away to the man. Traditionally, this is what it says in the Bible. I'm a religious person. I believe in God. I live in the most religious country in the world.
So you do think that the woman becomes the men?
I think she takes his last name.
I mean, let's watch the clip that you said about this so that we can get it in context.
So I think my sister is her husband's property, yes. When a bride is walking down the aisle to marry the groom, the father walks next to her and gives her away. True or false?
I mean, again, in the old world that we lived in, the wife was the husband's property, right? She was the husband's property. And in the world now that we live in, like, here's the thing. These girls, they all want to be like the girl that's married to, you know, Channing Tatum, or, you know, to, like, just insert any, like, superstar, Jason Momoa. But should they have to marry a guy that they're not attracted to, that they, you know, didn't get alpha widowed by in their youth after having 50 plus partners or whatever, you know, having an OF account, then suddenly they want to be their own person. They don't want to be anyone's property. They don't, like, they want the husband to have the traditional role, but the wife should be just totally free to do whatever she wants and have no consequence and no responsibilities as a girl in the relationship, which is just utterly asinine in my view.
False.
Absolutely.
But I've been married twice, as it turns out, and on both occasions, I didn't believe that the woman was being handed to me as chattel, as property.
Perhaps the way that.
Oh, he's backpedaling. Right, but again, Piers. Okay, let's think about ownership in a different respect. Okay, so maybe not ownership like chattel, right? Like property in the sense that, you know, you can buy and sell her. But no man wants to be with a girl that every other man has slept with. So what that means is that men want to, you know, have the girl. They want to feel some sense of ownership of her, right? And that's what it's regarding. It's actually regarding biological reality. So biological reality is this. You want to be with a girl that carries your offspring and not some other man's offspring. So if every other man has had her, if she's the town bicycle, then if every other man has had her, she's a town bicycle, then your paternity is not certain. And if your paternity is not certain, then all of the investment that you put in her is useless, right? Because your genes aren't being passed on to the next generation. So you are basically an evolutionary dead end. And we are, like, our purpose on this earth is to reproduce, right? Even in the Bible, it says, go forth and multiply, right? So if the girl has multiplied with a man other than you and said that that's your child, you have effectively been eliminated from the gene pool by her actions, right? And that's what it means when they say ownership. I want to own her womb. I want to own the ability to multiply with her. That's what that means, truly. So, and Piers, I think you would agree that you want to be with a girl that you can actually have children with and not some other man, which is why I'll bet you didn't marry a single mother.
The reason I'm asked that question repeatedly, and I'm asked in a loaded way.
So would you rephrase what you said there?
Now, that's an interesting point about phrasing. The way I would say things before I was famous, I have to take personal responsibility and accept that if I make a video that 500 people see and 1% of them misunderstand it, that's not a problem. If I make a video that 5 million people see and 1% of them understand.
So specifically on that point, I think my sister is her husband's property.
She took his last name. She married him. She wanted to join his family. She has said it herself.
Right. So she's
still a sovereign individual. She's absolutely not a sovereign.
Right. So here's the thing. True. I actually didn't make this point, but it's a good point that Andrew made, which is this. She has by her own actions implied that she is his property, right? That she is owned by him. She has removed her own last name and talked about wanting to join his family and do things his way, right? That's actually kind of, that's implying that she's his, right? But again, she's not his in the sense that he can sell her. She's his in the sense that he has sole access to her womb for reproduction. That's the idea there, in my view, anyway.
Property
individual.
means that the husband owns your sister.
Listen, my friend, if we want to argue about this, we need to go back to the Bible, to the Quran. You need to argue with religious
No,
leaders
I'm not
around the
talking
world.
about anything in the Bible or Quran. I'm asking
that's what
you,
it says.
No, I'm asking you what you think.
I think that if a woman marries a man and she decides to take his last name, that they have different roles and responsibilities within that marriage, and I believe that
That's not the question.
I believe the
Don't
father.
behave,
I
Andrew,
am. The
don't behave
father
like,
hands her.
Don't behave like a politician.
The father hands her
When
to the
you-
man.
Right, but don't be a politician, because I think you're a straight talker,
Sure.
right? You keep telling me you're a straight talker. I think my sister is her husband's property.
Well, wait. So he tells the guy not to talk like a politician, but he's talking exactly like a politician during this so-called interview where he's trying to frame Andrew, he's trying to pillory Andrew for his speaking and have him like have a come to Jesus moment, you know, where he turns around and admits that he's been wrong or whatever. Like, Andrew should just say, I believe that she's his property and like, prove me wrong, you know, like.
Do you regret saying it like that?
I understand that with my newfound fame, perhaps it could be phrased differently. However, I still believe that a woman is given to the man in marriage. That's what I believe.
Yeah, but not as property.
No, the property is the word that other people use when they ask me the question.
But as an equal partner in a loving union.
No. I have to stop you right there. Equal partner in a loving union. Yeah, so again, Piers is just admitting he's a leftist, right? No, that is not what marriage is. There's no equal partnership. If there's an equal partnership, it means the woman rules the relationship. There's no equal partnership in marriage. Okay, we're going to continue this in the next video. But anyway, we'll end it here, okay? So hit the like, hit the subscribe, go to hit all for notifications, go to Patreon. It's the Helios blog, patreon.com/theheliosblog. Subscribe to any tier. Okay, we'll continue in the next video. Get out of here.